That's Dude.
And that's Dude.
And welcome to
Lazy Boys Night.
Oh,
yeah.
I feel weird because normally we have a beer at this point, but we're in a public place. We'll do the beer part later. We'll probably stop
Yeah,
somewhere
that's
and
gonna happen.
Have a pint.
So you know what kind of episode this is, folks? It has to be a special because we're outside. That makes us special.
Today is our Canada Day episode, but you know what? We're not just talking Canada Day.
No.
We figured we are in the national capital, and so very little is usually said about Ottawa, which is a shame because it's just gorgeous. Look, you can see castles in the background.
It's an amazing
It's
place,
a beautiful
folks.
city. Hey, a few fun facts about Ottawa. It's the national capital.
That's a fun fact.
That's a fun fact. We're in Ontario, but just on the border with Quebec. The river splits it. There's approximately 1.126 million people in Ottawa. But if
That's very specific.
It is, but if you include the Quebec side, I did my research, I did my homework. If you include the Quebec side, we have 1.466 million people.
Wow.
So roughly, the metro area is roughly 1.5 million people. Now, Ottawa used to be known as Bytown.
Why was that, Dude?
Because we'll show you a little later, but a certain Colonel By. That's him. That's the dude.
That's the dude we're talking about.
Colonel By.
There he is.
It's spelled B-Y. In case you're wondering, he was apparently hetero, but he's Colonel By. He was
He couldn't say
commissioned.
anything back then.
He couldn't say anything back then. He was commissioned by the British Empire to build a series of locks and a canal to join the Ottawa River to the St. Lawrence River, several hundred kilometers south.
So much history.
Yeah, and it was built right here, and so it was originally called Bytown. And in 1855, it became Ottawa.
You know so much.
I did my homework.
No
And
kidding.
In
Holy
1857,
Yes.
the British Crown decided, because we were still a colony of England back then, decided to move the national capital. It used to be in Kingston, Ontario. They brought it here to Ottawa in 1857, and it's been here ever since. Now, other fun fact we've mentioned this fun fact a lot. There's approximately 50 microbrews here in Ottawa. So if you like good beer,
Right away.
Lazyboys loves the good
Hell
beer. If
yeah.
you like good beer,
That's
you
what
come
we're
to
all
Ottawa.
about, right?
Oh yeah.
But where we are right now, folks, really important. We're in Major Hills Park, right? So it doesn't look like it, but we're right downtown Ottawa. This is a part where you can see multiple castles at the back.
Ottawa's
We're all
a
about the
very green
castles.
city. We have a lot of parks
We have
right downtown.
so
Very
many
little
green
smokestacks.
belts.
Oh, it's crazy.
So-
Crazy. Hundreds and hundreds of kilometers of bike trails all going through
Don't
these
talk
parks.
about bike trails.
Come on, dude.
You should be on bike trails. That's a dude diatribe.
and
Stay off
fun
the
fact-
roads.
Fun fact, this particular park, when we declared independence on July 1st, 1867, the very first Canada Day, they had a fireworks display right in this park. The very first Canada Day fireworks happened right here, and we're going to talk about more of that when we actually hit our grand destination for Canada Day.
All right, so what we're going to be doing today, folks, is that we're going to bring you to different landmarks, things you need to see when you're in Ottawa, right? So we're going to try to build it in a way where when you do come down to Ottawa,
And you will.
recognize all of these points. We're trying to keep it within a certain amount of kilometers.
To be honest,
miles.
everything we're showing you is in about an 8 to 10 block area
Yeah,
of the downtown
exactly.
core.
And there's
so
to
much
see.
more outside too, but we can't walk around
Can you
the
tell
city
we're
all day.
excited about it?
Oh yeah, we love our city.
Right?
All right.
So, stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Watch this. We're going to show you a quick clip, and then we're going to bring you to our very first location just for you. Alright folks, I'm pretty sure you know where we are. If you don't, it's important that you do know. We're at the National War Memorial. This actually, if you're able to come here first, you know, we started off in the park and everything else, but if you can start off your day here, if you do a 360 from where we are, you can pretty much go anywhere in Ottawa. But the important thing about this is to come over, pay your respects if you're Canadians and if you're internationals, and if you've ever dealt with the Canadian military, this is where our pride stems from. This is where, when we have our day of remembrance, this is where
November 11th.
this is where everybody meets. This is where the Governor General shows up. This is where all the Prime Minister shows up. Everybody else shows up here. But what's important to note? Anything to note?
Well, at the bottom you can see first two guards are standing at attention right now, but laid between them is the tomb of the unknown soldier. Beyond that, you can see the face of the monument here says 1914 to 1918, commemorating World War I. But around the monument, there are dates to different wars we've been involved in since basically we became a nation on our own. And at the top, those two figures, there's two angels, I guess. They represent peace and freedom. Values
Right.
we hold dear.
Yes. So, like I said, if you ever get a chance, if you are and when you are in Ottawa, start off here. From this point, respects, and then move along. You can see everything else from here. Speaking of which, let's move along. And here we are at the next location we're talking about, the Royal Canadian Mint.
Oh yeah.
You know what they do there?
Stamp the money.
Nah,
Well-
they actually, at this particular location, at the Castle on Sussex Drive, they actually mint numismatic coins, so you know as collector coins, but they also do the refinement of gold and silver.
So all those gold bars, those
Yeah.
silver bars, those
Silver
big
bars, gold
investment.
bars.
Oh yeah, this is like the
This
Canadian
is where it's
Fort
coming
Knox.
from. So I know for a fact that they actually have tours, right? So you can actually see the production line. They have an awesome boutique with all kinds of awesome souvenirs you can go check out. A lot of big trucks going by.
A lot of noise.
There's tons of noise, tons of action, but the Royal Canadian Mint, you gotta check it out. Like I said, it's a castle on Sussex. You can't go wrong. And it's been there since 1908. I think that's what I read. So 1908, folks, imagine that. So, ready for the next location?
Ready?
All right, we'll see you soon.
This one is the National Gallery of Canada, where we keep all the cool art stuff.
I can't hear you, there's too much traffic.
What?
There's so much traffic.
Deal with it.
There's so many people here.
Anyways, there's over 40,000 pieces of art from 5,000 different artists. Let's see, it also houses the famous Mama spider statue. Pretty
Isn't
creepy,
that
huh?
awesome?
I know.
The sheer
it's
size.
a piece of modern architecture by Moshe Safdie, I think, something like that. Inside, you can see a few stills. The Grand Gallery is awesome, as well as the glass. I don't know if you call that a dome. It's kind of pointy, but it is so damn cool.
When that first was being built, I remember that, and I thought they were actually building a huge church, like a cathedral, just because of the way it was set up. But after knowing what was actually coming over here, you should have seen what the National Art Museum looked like before.
Oh yeah.
But this is worth seeing if you're coming downtown Ottawa, right? Come
Art
and check it
lovers,
out.
Come and check it out. Next up,
Where are we going next? Oh, I
Right
know.
over here.
Yeah, let's go. Look at that. Notre Dame
Cathedral Basilica.
Yeah, that's huge. Built in 1933. Look what's next to it. Remember the spider? This spider, folks, is huge around here. And we have the Basilica right next to it.
Kind of mixed messages. I don't know.
I know, there's like all these things happening at the same time in a few city blocks. So another great location, always tons of tourists here. Sometimes, as you can see right now, we're lucky. Everybody just took off in time for us to be able to film. Oh, I got hit by something. Anyways, we'll see you soon.
So behind us is the National Museum of History, formerly known as the Museum of Civilization. Here's a proper still so you can see it better behind the bridge. But it houses, the roof is entirely made of copper. It's the largest single copper roof in the world. A lot of buildings have copper roofs, but they're usually sectional. This is all one giant piece. Let's see what else. It houses...
So the other thing, which is a fun fact, if you're watching where it actually is situated across the river, so that is the Ottawa River on this side, And if you go on the other side, the other shore, it's the Outaouais.
Yes,
Outaouais.
it splits Ontario and Quebec at this point.
So it's not Quebec, it's Quebec. You're able to say Quebec.
Yeah.
So like when you say K, I understand. Well,
Quebec.
it's Quebec.
It houses over 5 million artifacts.
Yeah, they have a huge collection.
They have the Canadian stamp collection, every single stamp ever issued by the government of Canada since its inception.
The Children's Museum.
Children's Museum is look
so
at this.
If you have
This looks
kids,
awesome.
you know,
Now,
even if you don't have kids, go check it out.
Now it is on the Quebec side, but if you cross the river,
we're gonna move.
you're gonna see behind us is the Parliament buildings under construction right now. They're usually much prettier. Here's a proper picture of the Parliament buildings.
That's what it usually looks like.
Yeah, we'll talk about that more later.
You see how close we are?
And then you can see the National Gallery behind us and all that fun stuff.
Look at the view though at the back here, folks.
This is a panoramic, gorgeous park view with the rivers, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it. It's beautiful. There you go.
Folks,
What is that?
We need to know. What is that?
It's like it's waiting for a giant tweezer to come and pluck the hair off the lawn.
So that is in Ottawa ingrown hair. That's what it looks like.
So that's my house.
You wish.
I wish. That's the Chateau Laurier. That's the backside. The front side, it actually looks like a really cool castle. The backside just looks like the backside of a castle. It's a cool hotel right downtown, 5-star plus.
Yeah. That's how we do it in Canada, folks.
So if you
That's
come
a hotel.
Here, if you come stay here, stay there. It'll cost you, but it's worth it.
Hotel. That's how we roll.
My house. What you're seeing are the locks of the Rideau Canal. They're built out of Douglas fir, and they have to be replaced every 12 to 15 years. These are all hand crank operated. There's 42 locks in total across 24 lock stations connecting Ottawa to the city of Kingston, which is a little over 200 kilometers away. Now these locks, basically the waters level up, boats can come up and down. It was originally an important commercial waterway, now it's more touristy, but about 90,000 boats cross this lock every year. That's the old train station. It's not a train station anymore, nor rails run downtown anymore. Now what is it?
It's a convention center.
It's a conference
but
center.
Look how awesome that is. And so imagine back in the day when you would show up in Ottawa by train, you'd be following the Rideau Canal, right? There's tracks there, and this is where your end destination was. You'd show up close to everything else that was downtown
You're just 2
Ottawa.
blocks from the Parliament buildings, you're 1 block from the Chateau Laurier, and all sorts of cool stuff. So behind us to my left is the NAC building, that's the National Arts Centre building, and on the right that is the Rideau Canal. Now, what do you want to talk about first?
Let's go Rideau Canal.
Tell us about the Rideau Canal, dude.
Well, the Rideau Canal is the waterway we were talking about at Colonel By
the
Down,
locks.
right? With all the locks, with over 200 some locks. The idea was to make it all the way down to the
St. Lawrence
River. I was going to say Riverway, and get to Kingston, which was the original capital of Canada. So the idea was to build this, and one of the nastiest parts about this, it was all dug by hand, like shovels.
Oh yeah.
And the amount of people that died from malaria due to the insane amount, because it was all swamp.
It was also 200 kilometers worth.
Yeah, of swamp dug by shovel, and all these people were dying to get this set up. And it was never ever used for military purposes. That was the original intent, was to bring down supplies.
It helped for commerce too, but now the fun thing about, what about the canal in winter?
Oh, the longest skateway on the planet.
That's right, it's the world's longest naturally frozen skateway. How many kilometers?
Here's a photo of what it looks like in the wintertime.
It's 7.2 kilometers long. That's just short of 5 miles, I think, or 4 miles.
Oh, we'll pop it up.
Well,
right?
my dude will take care of that.
But if you come here during the summertime, as you can see, you got tons of boats. You got you can actually book and go for a tour. And during the wintertime, fantastic skating. and just enjoying that, the sight of it.
Now, as for the NAC, this is the big, you guys have in the States, they have the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. This is the National Arts Center here. It was built in 1969, and it will host anything from large Broadway productions to small experimental theater. It's got its own in-house orchestra, 46-piece orchestra. There's actually 4 stages in there. There's what used to be known as the Opera Hall, now it's known as Southern Hall. It has 2,323 seats. The theater, a little smaller, has 897 seats. The studio, which is considered a black box theater, has 300 seats. And then there was another room they converted as the 4th stage, which is usually for small rentals, experimental stuff. It has 150 seats. It's also available for weddings, receptions, all that stuff. Gorgeous, gorgeous architecture building. Everything is hexagons. Kind of hard to see from there, but dude, can you put up an aerial shot? You can see it's all hexagons.
So, fun fact on that, that's where I had my graduation party.
Hey, mine was at the Chateau Laurier.
No way.
Other fun fact.
So,
in my youth in the 90s as a student, I worked at the NAC as an usher. I'd tear up the tickets and bring it to your seat, and I gotta tell you, I saw some awesome, awesome shows.
We do have a fantastic, so if you ever do plan on coming down, when you have the dates,
Catch your
look
show.
up, see what's playing, right? It's right downtown, you do that, you get to your hotel, you go for a nice meal, but it's right there, folks. Everything is super close by. All right, folks, this is something that you have to see as well if you come downtown Ottawa. We're really close to the National War Memorial.
It's right there.
It's right there, and right here is what? It's Spark Street Mall. Why is it a mall?
Well, this is the first street in North America to be permanently converted into an outdoor mall area. No cars allowed. It's all restaurants, shops, big businesses. In the summers, it hosts a bunch of festivals, including the Ottawa International Busker Fest, Rib Fest, Poutine Fest. You don't want to miss Poutine Fest. And
What's on the corner? What's on the corner?
Right there. That's Darcy McGee's.
Too close.
I can't see.
You want to show them?
Darcy McGee's.
Awesome pub.
It's an awesome pub, but here's the funny part. Darcy McGee was one of the fathers of Confederation. America has their founding fathers. We have the fathers of Confederation. And he was actually assassinated on Spark Street, right near where this pub is now named after him. Go figure. Street crime in Canada.
Right. So
that was 150 years ago, so don't worry about it.
So there's tons of good places for beers here. If you want to start off and do a pub crawl, have at it.
Great place to start. So behind us is the Parliament buildings. It usually looks nicer. There's usually no construction here. It's just one of a series of 5 buildings. You can see this one is the East Block, Center Block, West Block, and there's 2 more behind the West Block. And what happens here, dude?
This is where all the important decisions for Canada are made. Right in there.
Yeehaw.
Right?
It houses both the Chamber of Commons as well as the Senate. And fun fact.
There's a fun fact. About this?
Yeah, I don't remember the year, dude. You'll have to put the year, early 1900s. A fire actually caught in the Parliament building.
The fire.
This is not the original building. All of the building burnt down except for the Parliamentary Library. Dude, can you put up a picture of the library? One employee was smart enough to close the doors, and they are heavy, heavy, heavy steel doors that separates it. And because of that, the library was spared from the fire, and then they rebuilt this one and made it bigger and taller than before. Dude, show a picture of the old one compared to this one.
That's a difference.
Yeah.
So they decided to go bigger, bolder,
there you go,
and more phallic-y.
Now,
dude, okay, do a full 360, because folks, you have to see on the other side of the street, like, the architecture in Ottawa is absolutely amazing. So if you have a chance to actually make your way down and you're looking at everything that there's just around this few city blocks, it's unbelievable.
Now in this area here, as you can see, it's a lot of old stone carved buildings, which is beautiful. If you go just a little further, 2 blocks south, then you wind up with the big glass and steel towers and things like that. But nonetheless, it is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, and just a few, like, what is it, a couple of blocks down, you have Bank Street, which is one of, if not the longest street in Ottawa. It's a bit, if you were going to compare it to Yonge Street in Toronto.
But
so
not
it
as long.
starts off, not as long, but I mean, it's the same concept, but it starts off, you're right downtown by Parliament.
And it just keeps going and going
and
and
it
going.
keeps changing. The cityscape keeps changing till you actually end up in the country, which is the wildest thing.
Out in the countryside, it's still Bank Street.
Wild.
Now, we're here because we're celebrating Canada Day. We mentioned that at the beginning of the video. Canada Day is in just a few days, July 1st. Now, in this area here in front of the Parliament building, typically an average Canada Day, just on these grounds, you'll have about 56,000 people.
It's unbelievable.
But that's a small number because not everybody can fit here on the hill, so they all spread out towards the Byward Market where we were at earlier,
Major Hill
Park where we were earlier. And depending on the year, you will have between 200 and 350,000 people crammed in about an 8 to 10 block area.
Imagine that.
It is crazy. It is insane. It is the party to end all parties.
It's
if you want to experience that, it's a
sea of red and white.
Yeah, all the roads are closed. The buses are free, so you don't have to worry about transit.
No.
Don't worry about parking downtown. Buses are free that day. Come downtown. You're gonna have to walk. You don't have a choice. And enjoy the food, enjoy the beer, enjoy the live concerts on the hill, enjoy the fireworks. It is spectacular.
Oh, food. Are you hungry?
I am hungry.
Oh, I have an idea.
What?
All right, stick around, folks. A few seconds for you, a little walk for us. We'll see you shortly. Guess where we are?
This is the Byward Market. It was established in 1826. It was originally for farmers and vendors to come set up themselves. It's one of the oldest and largest open markets in Canada. It spans about 4x3 blocks right near the downtown core. We're just a few blocks away from Parliament buildings and the Rideau Canal and all that fun stuff. Right now it's a tourist hotspot, right? What do you get here?
You can get, there's restaurants, there's different shops, specialty shops,
boutiques, art galleries,
meat shops, cheese shop, fish shop, buskers, and one of the most important things and iconic things, beaver tails.
We're going there right now.
Yeah, we're going to be showing that off. I'm sure if you don't know what that is, we'll show it off now.
Beaver tails. Now, beaver tails has now become synonymous with Canadian desserts and pastries. It's internationally famous, but it actually started right here in Ottawa in the 1960s, I believe. Dude can set up the details. It's basically it's a fried pastry dough. Sorry about the bus behind us. It's a fried pastry dough with originally cinnamon sugar or add a squeeze of lemon to it, but now, as you saw on the board, they have so many different flavors. It is to die for. If you've never had one, you have to experience the beaver tail. Beer, poutine, beaver tail, that's the trifecta of Canadian dining.
All right, folks, this is something you absolutely need to see. We're still in the Byward Market, but behind me, we have Chateau Lafayette, which is the oldest bar, tavern, pub, call it as you will, in Ottawa, specifically in the market. So this thing's been around since 1849 and still alive and well.
It's older than the country.
Yeah, it's older than the country, and you still have some of the regulars from back then.
Now we call it the Laugh.
In the walls.
We call it the Laugh.
Yeah.
It's been through many incarnations. It's become trendy again, but for a while it was a dive pub back in the 70s and 80s.
Well, there's that period, where people that would go there, they were the regulars. Tourists would not go in there, and somebody decided to revamp it and bring back the Laugh. So if you're in Ottawa and you're hearing the Laugh, it's not a comedy club. That's where it is. So, you want to go for a beer?
Where?
Go for a beer at the Gentlemen's Club. Have a beer?
Gentlemen's Club.
The Gentlemen's Club?
Yeah. No formal attire required.
None.
Or any attire for that matter.
You don't even have to wear anything. Nothing.
So behind me is the U.S. Embassy. It used to be across the street from Parliament buildings, but it was very small. So I don't know how many years ago, dude, you can fix that. They built this thing Kind of hard to tell from here. Do put in a picture from the aerial view. It's meant to kind of look like a weird battleship. And it's right smack in the heart of the market, right next to Parliament. And for American friends, if ever anything happens, you're in Canada, you come to your embassy here. Now, these are the stairs. I'm going to do my Rocky Balboa impression. You ready? How does Stallone do it? So we normally do this at the top of the episode, but what are we drinking?
I'm having a nice Carlsberg on tap.
Dude's going old school. I'm having something local. It's the Calabogie Brewing Company. I'm having their cerveza because on a hot day like this, with the humidex today, it's about 39 degrees Celsius.
That's a Fahrenheit right there.
Yeah, it is sweltering. We need a nice cold beer. Cheers, dude.
Cheers, dude. So, folks, hope you enjoyed our day. I'm gonna have a swig before I finish the sentence.
Oh, damn, that's good.
I can feel it. So I hope you've enjoyed your tour.
If you enjoyed it, please
do that.
Subscribe, like, and share.
Right.
And we are still right now in the park where we all began. This is a nice little outdoor patio pub area. Oh. And everything we've shown you, like we said, is in an 8 to 10 block radius just in the downtown core. And that's a tiny fraction of Ottawa, who is apparently, hang on, I got a few extra fun facts about Ottawa, if I may, since we are talking about Ottawa here. I know, I feel like Cliff Clavin. You know, it's a little known fact that I got it on my phone here.
You want to add something to the very end?
I want to add something. So, like we said, capital Canada, we talk about population. The land area. Ottawa boasts a land area of 2,788.2 square kilometers. Now, to give you perspective, Toronto only has 630 square kilometers.
Oh!
And of course, Toronto's all built tight enough.
Yeah.
We are spread wide. It is one of the larger area cities in the country and filled with parks and beautiful stuff. And we can't cover all 2,788 kilometers on this video. We just covered about 2 square kilometers for
Exactly.
you. So go visit the other 2,786. Tell us what you think. And cheers.
Hey, come and visit. And if you happen to see us, all you have to do is say, dude!
Happy Canada Day.
So remember, Lazyboys night, that's where we are, that's who we are, and this is where we're having our beers. We'll see you next time.